Hi everyone, thanks for joining me. I wanted to chat about something that happened to me recently and that I think is really important to address. It was basically a situation that made me realize things about my own life and that I wanted to say something about on here because I think it's something that is important for us to talk about. So basically what happened is I happened to be at a barn dropping something off. There was a woman riding, there was two women watching the woman riding, and the woman riding was doing an absolutely beautiful job. I was actually really struck by how beautiful her ride was, the control that she had over her body, the communication that she had with the horse, and how light and beautiful and gentle and kind the whole thing looked. The two women that were standing and watching had a really different opinion, and their sort of point of contention was based entirely on the weight of the rider. Now, it's true, the rider was a bigger rider and quite a bit bigger. And normally this is not something that I ever judge people on, or that I bring up. But it seemed to be a really big problem for the two women that were watching, and they were saying some pretty nasty things. And from my perspective, the rider was riding beautifully. Her ride looked light. The horse was carrying her lovely. The horse was rounded. He was using all of his muscles appropriately. Her tack fit beautifully. She was using no artificial aids. It was absolutely a gorgeous ride, and actually I found it really inspiring. But these two women were really upset that this woman was larger and was riding, and I did say something, and I had to say something, and I kind of pointed out all of the ways in which I thought it was a beautiful ride, and that the horse was giving absolutely no signs that the rider's weight was an issue for him. And these women kind of did come around when I pointed it all out. They did kind of in the end say like, oh, whether or not they really understood anything that I had to say, or they were just kind of conceding because they felt guilty for getting caught gossiping about this woman who was riding. But it was heartbreaking because that is something that happens in barns. It does happen. This isn't the first time that this has ever happened. But I was completely inspired by this woman's ride because you could obviously see that she was very fit. The kind of things that they were doing and the way that it all looked speaks to someone that has a lot of core control, that is able to carry themselves, isn't dumping it on the horse, and it's obvious that they've spent a lot of time working on this together, and that the horse is using his body correctly, the rider is using their body correctly. It was absolutely beautiful. It made me realize though that I have a long way to go, that I need to start focusing on the strength of my body in terms of like how it works when I'm riding. So for those of you that have known me over the last handful of years, you'll know that I've had some struggles with injuries. I broke the fingers on my right hand. I had some broken fingers there. I had a major concussion that changed a lot about how my brain works and how my short-term memory and long-term memory work. And had me kind of getting to Reno myself for a while. And then I had some broken ribs, and then I ended up with this hernia. And so prior to the hernia, I was actually doing really well. I was working out quite a bit. I was running. I was like working towards running a marathon. I was super excited. I was really fit, and I was quite strong. And then I ended up with this hernia, and it ended up being that I had to kind of do as little as possible while I waited for my surgery. And then after my surgery, they had said that the recovery rate was like, oh, like in 6 weeks, you'll be back to doing what you normally do. And it was pretty much a year or more until I kind of could start to do the things that I had done before in a similar manner. And then also after my surgery, I was not given painkillers because I am allergic to codeine. They just opted to not give me painkillers and told me that I could take an Advil or a Tylenol if I felt pain after my surgery. So when I came home from my surgery, they had given me a stronger painkiller while I was in the hospital. And I came home and I ended up getting up in the middle of the night, and I felt okay, but I ended up getting up in the middle of the night and then having such absolutely intense pain that I passed out multiple times, and my partner rushed into the room with me kind of like flailing around, which was traumatic for everyone involved. But I can tell you right now that I have never experienced pain like that in my life. I thought that all of my intestines were falling out of my body. It was so very bad. And so now my body has kind of a PTSD from that pain, that every time I start to feel a little bit of discomfort from my hernia area, I'm just like, oh. So I'm trying to work through that, because I think I really owe it to specifically my horse Suni, who I'm going to be starting more in the spring. I've sat on her a few times and we'll kind of sit on her over the winter, but our actual kind of work at getting booked to ride is going to happen in the spring when she's 4. And then we'll be starting slowly over the spring. We'll be starting really slowly because I'm going to give her a couple years to kind of just finish baking all of her bones. But watching this rider, who was a heavy rider but had absolutely such beautiful control of her body, was so strong through her core, made me really realize that I owe it to Suni to be that strong, and that I owe it to her to be that controlled, and then I owe it to her to really work on my core and my strength and my physicality over the winter. So I thought I would make this into a video because it would kind of hold me accountable. So I'm going to be posting some sort of workout videos and some of the things that I'm doing to try to get into shape. And I'm hoping by posting it, it'll kind of keep me accountable to the fact that I'm going to really work hard at this over the summer, and then kind of reveal our results in the spring. So hopefully, and then another thing too is that it's important for me to be working Suni every day and to be helping to build her muscles, to strengthen her back, to build her core, so that when I do start to ride her, then we'll both be really strong. So that's kind of my goal for the winter, is to get us both really strong through our core, strong through our backs, so that when we start training, oh, here she comes, so that when we start really getting going under her saddle in the spring, that she will be, hi my love, that she will be ready to go, and I will be ready to go, and oh really, and that we'll both, hey, have a really positive experience because we are both stronger and balanced. So yeah, anyway, check back, join me if you want to see my progress in getting both me and Suni riding fit for the spring. All right.